Test. Hey YouTube. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday afternoon. Hey Tom Patterson, welcome to the stream. Can you give me a sound check just to make sure? Once again, I am bereft of topic, although I do want to talk about COPA, Child Online Privacy Protection Act. I think that it's that a lot of people are probably overreacting to it, and yet I think that it's probably a good idea to at least recognize what's going on and prepare oneself. I don't think there is any I don't know. I guess other people's experience might be a good thing to get into here. There's all kinds of rumors running rampant out there. Hey, Fisher Room Fever, welcome to the stream. It's apparent that they are going to try to charge people $42,000 per fine if you run a video that has some instance of non-child friendly activity on a video that is marked child friendly, and potentially any child friendly activity on a video that is marked non-child friendly. So everything is still pretty vague. Everything's kind of still up in the air. The rules seem to be changing as it moves forward. I think we just need to, hey Dan Slee, welcome to the stream. I think we just need to be aware that something's going on with COPA. If you are a content provider and if you are a content viewer, you need to be aware that there may be less people out there for you to watch because of the uncertainty about this COPA fine situation. It's my understanding, and I may well be wrong about this, that if you have not monetized your videos, that they can't fine you at all, or that they can only find you a percentage, fine you only a percentage of what you're making on a video. Since I make nothing on a video, it's my understanding that they can't fine me for anything. So I don't know. We're kind of going into this blind. There's plenty of material to read. There's plenty of hysteria to get a hold of. I saw one video that said I got fined $42,000 for saying the word cool in a video. And here I am saying the word cool in a video, which would make it child friendly, evidently, on an adults only video. Hey Bob, welcome to the stream. I just think that we should be aware that there are changes afoot. I mean, there always seems to be changes afoot on YouTube, but once again, we're facing changes on YouTube, and we should do the best we can to be aware and act accordingly. Dance Lee says, all I know is a lot of people have gotten a lot of views talking about it. Yeah. Well, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary thinking that you could be bankrupted by putting out content. You know, I think that you're always susceptible to some kind of problems putting out content on YouTube. But this one hit you right in the pocketbook, and it's probably going to scare some people off. It may actually cause people to remove all of their content and stop doing content. Dan says agreed, but a lot have been building the hype, and I don't mean in the fish community. Yeah, so far the fish community seems to be reacting highly nonplussed, and that's probably a good way to react to this, but I don't think that we should go into it unaware. I don't think content providers should be stupid about this in the fish family. I think we need to be fully aware of what is and what isn't happening. And I'm not so sure that that's been clearly enunciated yet. I'm not so sure that anyone has given a clear picture of what is actually going on out with this copa. I mean, a lot of times, something that has that makes perfectly logical sense, that's enacted into legislation, is then construed into something that doesn't make perfectly logical sense by the people that do it. Dan says, nope, just remember to take self-proclaimed social media lawyers with YouTube channels about it with a grain of salt too. Yeah. Yes, you need to use logic. You need to use discrimination. You need to use rational thinking when viewing this stuff and realizing that it's highly volatile right now, and that it's a topic that is, it's like a fear topic. You know, I mean, when I first started hearing about this stuff and looking at videos, you know, I was kind of shocked and afraid myself. So we just need to really, I've spoken to several different people in the fish fam about it. The new C word, yeah. I've spoken to several different people, and most of them feel like a lot of people felt when it first became known that there were hackers out there hacking your financial information off of the web, where they would hack into websites and steal your information and use it to bankrupt you. You know, a lot of people said, well, there's so many of us out here that they can't possibly get to all of us. And while that's true, it doesn't mean in individual cases that people didn't feel the pain of being hacked and having their finances broken down around them, you know. So there probably are going to be some people that fall between the cracks and actually get some kind of fine. Um, like Dan says, Sharpie says, seems to me like the FTC has taken a common sense approach. Just remains to see if YouTube will. Well, I'm not sure I agree with that statement entirely because I'm not sure anybody really knows what the FTC approach is. It seems to be changing. It seems to be vague. It seems to be unclear as to actually how they're going to go about doing this. What we do know is that some people have already been fined, you know, and while I think it is a wonderful thing to do to get child predators off the internet, you know, as much as possible, I think that a lot of people are going to fall victim to vague enforcement of the rules, whatever the rules really are. Put it this way, fish fam have nothing to worry about. Well, I hope that's true. I hope that's how this all shakes out. But don't be surprised if you see people's content suddenly disappear. I'm personally am kind of teetering on the cliff. I'm ready to leap at a moment's notice. As soon as I think I'm in trouble, I'm gone. I can't afford to pay 42 grand. It would bankrupt me. So we'll just kind of see. I think I'm safe because I'm not monetizing anything. I've never asked anybody for money and I'm not going to. I want you to spend your money on your hobby so that you can advance your own hobby. And while it means I won't be able to do a lot of things that a lot of money coming in would help me do, it's not my interest to turn what I'm doing into a monetized situation. If this becomes a job for me, I'm going to rail against it. Sharpies was watching a video yesterday. Someone went to see the FTC in person and got good answers from them. Fines will be income dependent. It's not aimed at people like us. Yippee. I'm glad you got that much clarity out of this situation. I still think it bears watching. I still think it bears us paying enough attention to not be caught up, you know. Hey Susan, welcome to the stream. We're talking about COPA a little bit, just to broach the subject. For those who are unaware of this subject, it is Child Online Privacy Protection Act. And part of what's going on is that YouTube uses data mining. Yes, I'm talking about COPA, Susan. YouTube uses ads that will data mine you that will get your address, that will try to get your phone number, that will try to get information about you that they can use to sell to companies that advertise so that you can be a target of advertising. And, and when young children who don't know what's going on get on YouTube without parental supervision, they're liable to click on a video that data mines them. And so it makes sense that someone is watching over that process. It would make more sense to me that YouTube as crazy as it's going, next is find the parents, the internet providers, the computer makers. Hey Pam, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's one of the truisms about government is that you can't legislate morality, and nothing that the government's going to do is going to force parents to do their job, force parents to sit with their children and watch over what they're doing. And it's, it's kind of like the responsibility that's incumbent on us as fish keepers. Those fish are in our care. We are responsible for how they die or how they thrive or how they just make it through life. Their lives are our responsibility. And by the same token, being a parent is not just being a friend. Being a parent is not just someone cohabitating the same location as someone else. Being a parent requires a lot of interaction. It requires a lot of thought process. It requires a lot of recognition of the dangers that are out there and trying to arm your children with defenses against them when they are old enough to understand all of that. It doesn't do any good to tell them when they're 1 year old that they should be aware of internet predators, but once they're old enough to be aware and be engaging in activities that put them at risk, then it's a parent's job to try to interact with that child enough to let them know how they can be safe and the kinds of things that they need to be aware of. So it's kind of the same thing as fish keeping in the sense that it's incumbent on us as fish keepers to be aware of the situation we're placing our fish in and to be aware of what those fish need and require and help them. Hey, Alien World Aquatics. Hope you're doing well. The Lucky Seahorse and I will be lurking and getting ready to stream after you. All right, so anyone that isn't aware, Alien World Aquatics will be streaming after me. Well, come on, Max. Yes. Susan says, so true. Parents should be responsible and oversee the children's internet activities. Well, Pam, I don't want to come down on the side of being parents micromanaging their children. It's easy to it's easy to go overboard in those kinds of things. But I just think that COPA and the issues around it are are uh, are a good way for us to talk about, as parents now, are a good way for us to talk about what goes on the internet, what kind of issues there are on the internet, and and for for parents to give children a little reality check so that they understand. Sharpie says if anyone thinks I'm child friendly, they have a serious problem. Well, I don't particularly want to be non child friendly. I don't particularly want to push children away if they want to watch this content. But then again, I'm not about to say that the purpose of my videos is to um, encourage children to watch me. I'm not interested in that either. I just hope in some ways to make fish keeping, demystify fish keeping if possible for people out there, be they children or be they adults. And Pam says the issues with COPA and the internet are the cookies that advertisers install when you watch a show. It's not legal to track kids and focus advertising at them. Yeah, yes, Pam's got exactly the right point, and it makes me wonder why YouTube does that. YouTube should definitely have an algorithm that once they recognize that they're dealing with a child who's using the internet, that they should Thanks for dropping by, Susan. I think YouTube should definitely detach if they recognize that it's a child on the other end of the viewing, and no longer allow themselves to do ad mining of people that they recognize as children or potentially recognize as children. I'm not sure how this is all going to shake out for them, but I think it's kind of silly to go after the content providers. It is like if I watch a show about coffee, for instance, then every advertisement on every site I visit will have coffee advertisements. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Um, I highly recommend Sharpie says the simplest way to tell if you need to clench. Nice choice of words. Is to look at your analytics. I'm pretty sure none of us have much of any percentage of under 18s watching. Percentage of viewers will be the trigger. Yeah. Well, I don't hope not to have under 18s watching. I'm not going to pull my punches. Occasionally a cuss word will slip. Occasionally I'll talk about some topic that's pretty adult oriented, like this one is. But but I am not interested in making my channel be hemmed in by only being child friendly. That's not to say that I want to be necessarily child unfriendly, but I don't know, this COPA thing is more of a complex topic. You know, it's true that most fish farmers probably don't really need to worry about this. They just need to set their channels as non-child friendly or adult channels and go on from there and not worry about it. But if you're monetizing your videos and you're getting hundreds of thousands of views on all your videos, I think it behooves you to check out what the rules is. Sharpie says she feels the same, doesn't want to alienate anyone. Well, except those that need calling out and alienating. Right. I feel exactly the same. I don't want to promote or condone child predators. I think that's the most heinous of crimes, and I on the other hand, I don't want it to get so out of hand that innocent people that really haven't done anything wrong or who aren't doing anything wrong get swept up in the same broom that sweeps away a lot of child predators. Uh, I, I think that people that put out negative leaning videos, people that put out videos that are hateful or are designed to stoke people's fears are probably not the best thing out there. A lot of times that's what people gravitate towards. They gravitate towards things that titillate them or stir their emotions. So, you know, it's kind of a mixed bag. But I think in general, most YouTubers in the fish fam try to steer clear of fear mongering or I don't know. This is a sticky wicket of a topic. I, I don't I don't really see my way through it clearly, and it's probably just going to cause me to rant and rave uh, about things that I'm kind of unsure about. Sharpie says I even try to keep my rants positive. Well, I'm not so sure that I'm that uh, well self-enforced to keep my rants positive. I tend to, I've gotten so old that I feel like I've kind of got a license to say what I think. Pam says I positively rant. Yeah, I positively rant too when it's a topic that I feel some passion about. And there are a lot of those out there. I try to steer clear of just becoming a straight political rant video. Um, I don't know. I experienced driving home the other day a bumper sticker of a political nature that talked about a certain candidate running in the next election and talked about a certain act that they wanted me to do about my feelings. And I became incensed over that bumper sticker. And I think that it is incumbent on us as citizens of this country, and in that I mean the USA, and I also mean citizens of the world, to recognize that the government in Russia, the government, Sharpie says, I learned my lesson when I got a death threat over a video. Yeah, that's not good. When people are starting to give you death threats about stuff, it's not good. Anyway, I think it's incumbent on us to recognize that there are certain people out there in the world who want to spread divisiveness, who want to bring down the political, geopolitical power centers of some countries by dividing their population and putting their population at each other's throats to make us hate each other and thereby weaken our geopolitical standing in the world because we are no longer united as a people and focusing our attention. Sharpie's called out Nazism in modelers. Certain amount were dumb enough to hang themselves. Yes, if you give people enough rope, sooner or later a lot of them will hang themselves. And I for one like to do that. I'm also a chain yanker. I like to rattle people's cages sometimes, and I try my best in my fish fam videos, and I do consider myself a person that is at least tangentially part of the fish fam. I don't subscribe to every nuance of it. I think we should be free to say negative things, and I think we should be free to talk about our differences. I think we should be free to debate certain areas that have people that believe in them and people that disbelieve in them, so that better information is out there for the people in the fish fam who are watching and who want to get a better understanding of a topic and to get a recognition of what's good and bad about that topic. Punchy says, I don't hate anybody. I just think some people are total morons. Well, I'm not sure that I don't or do hate anybody. I know that I have a strongly negative reaction to some people, and that my morality teaches me to not hate people, but to recognize the delusions that cause them to act the way they do, and to be aware of that. So I'm constantly in a battle of wanting to protect others by calling out bad behavior as I see it, so that others aren't forced to deal with that bad behavior. And yet, I have to be very careful that I'm not hating as well, that I respect the other enough that I give them the same. You know, we can't be doormats. We can't let other people walk all over us without some kind of reaction to it. So, and yet we need to be very careful that we're not overreacting, that we're not misreacting, that we're not acting on a personal bias or acting on misinformation when we react to someone else walking all over us. So, when someone only builds WW2 German armor and you spot a crooked cross flag behind their bench, you have to question it. I was the one that volunteered to do the video to troll them out. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, the world's a mess out there. The kind of stuff that is out there on the internet every day, it's some scary stuff. There are scary people out there. And the more the government sticks its fingers into the situation and tries to remove some of those scary people from attacking our children, from misdirecting our children, Turbofish lost his puffer, jumped out of the tank twice, managed to push a half-inch thick 10-pound sheet of acrylic off. Wow. That's one determined puffer. Sharpie scares the scary people. Well, see, that tends to be my personal modus operandi is people that don't think they should be held accountable. Those are the ones I want mostly to hold accountable. So I try my best to tamp out that personal sense of, what's that a sense of? My personal sense of entitlement, that I am the arbiter of all things who should be held accountable. So I try to tamp that out of my own videos. I try not to go there. I think you people would be proud of me if you understood how hard I work at not saying what I really think about a lot of issues. But we're here to talk about fish. And I've spent 40 minutes ranting and raving about COPA. But I think that it is an issue that will affect some of our YouTube fish fam. I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure how badly. But we need to be aware of it and to act accordingly. And I guess that's enough to say that this is just like fish keeping. If you go out and buy a fish without a single idea of what that fish requires, if you have no idea of what the requirements are of that fish, then you can pretty well expect to have a bumpy ride with that fish afterwards. because then you're going to get it home and you're going to have to put it in a tank and you're going to have to provide it with some water parameters and you're going to have to provide it with some food. It behooves you to do due diligent research so that you understand what the requirements of fish are before you impulse buy them and take them home. A lot of people have cell phones these days. If you find something in a store and you want to buy it, you're feeling that impulse. There are lots of fish pages on the internet that will give you a basic rundown of what kind of requirements that fish will require, what kind of size that fish is going to reach when full grown. You know, red-tailed cats are really cute when they're about 3 and 4 inches long, but they get really, really, really big. And so it's we're all going to go out and buy impulse fish. It's just going to happen, and you just might as well get used to the idea. But you should use your cell phone, look the fish up on a site, talk to somebody that's knowledgeable, ask them about the fish and what they think it requires. Sharpie says, I'm old-fashioned. I take my tropical fish encyclopedia with me when I go to the local fish store. Wow. Now that is hardcore, Sharpies. Well, Turbo, I'm sorry that your puffer jumped. It sounds like you did the best you could to keep that fish in tank. Half-inch plexiglass sheets should be big enough to hold most fish in, but some fish are really determined. And when a fish gets big enough, they can actually put out a incredible display of strength. It's possible for large fish to break the fish tanks that they're in. I had 3 20-plus inch red-bellied pacus in 150 gallon, and the 3 of them got side by side and exploded because of a nearby lightning strike. They were by a window, and although it had 2 layers of heavy curtains on it, that lightning struck in the front yard just outside that window, and those fish reacted so strongly and instantaneously that the 3 of them side by side, exploding all together, blew a seam out of that 150-gallon tank, literally pushed the glass, 7/8 inch glass, almost 3/4 of an inch at the top. Nisi says, my dad still tells me fish only grow to the size of a tank. Why do you need a 6-foot tank for a goldfish? They stay small. They only live about a year. Well, yeah, if all you plan is flushing them down the toilet, then I guess, you know, they don't need a very big tank. Bob says 11 watching and 10 likes. Someone is slacking. Well, I think it's okay to slack on the liking department, as long as most people that feel that way are liking. Then you know, even hating on YouTube is a form of interaction that the YouTube algorithm um, recognizes almost the same as, yeah, Sharpie says anyone that's ever hooked a big fish while fishing knows how strong they can be. Well, I'm not so sure that we recognize that on a daily basis, that we can uh, equate Nisi says low right. We had a custom built 100-gallon for our Oscar. Don't judge my fish keeping, Dad. I'm glad your dad was a fish keeper, Nisi. I'm glad he passed the bug down to you. I'm glad he gave you the same joy that the rest of us can experience. It's really a joy that's out there for anyone who is willing to put a little effort into a pastime, as Imes called it, this pastime. It's a way for us to. One of the things that I love about the fish keeping hobby, and one of the things you learn as you get older, Sharpie says when you've had a 25-pound carp on the end of a 17-foot match rod, you learn just how bad cramps in your arm can hurt. Yeah. Yeah, anybody that's fought any large fish on a fishing pole has a good idea of just how strong a fish can be. What was I talking about? You want to be on the internet, Max? Tell everybody hi. Tell everybody hi. Wave to him, Max. There's Max. He tried to dig his way out of the backyard. He's why I'm so into pet keeping. He gave me my first tank when I was 11. Then he let me steal his puppy when I was 14. He even kind of likes my cats. Other cats are the worst, though. Ugh. Ugh. Max is a lap animal. Hey, Joseph, welcome to the stream, man. How's Joseph doing on this fine Saturday? Joseph, I'm continually wondering about your itinerary. I'm wanting to know when you get stateside. So I need updating. Lazy. I'm being lazy. Yep, me too. Me 3. Me 2 million. Um, don't keep us out of the loop, Joseph. Inquiring minds want to know. We want to celebrate and terrorize your new relationship. I mean, did I say terrorize out loud? Oh, I'm sorry. Lazy is good sometimes. I'm a professional. Waiting till after the North defrost. Ah, well, shoot, that's March. Or maybe May. At least April. After the North defrost. Well, you're probably better off scared of the cold north of the wall. Joseph, no matter when you go, it's May here. Yeah. No matter when you go, Joseph, winter is still coming. I'm not so sure that you wouldn't be better off just to jump right in the big middle of it and to get your blood thickened up right away. That way, when summer comes, You can de-thicken your blood, but your blood will recognize that it needs. Yeah, after March, I have plenty of work to ship all the fish. And Nisi's up there in the far north, telling us how far north. Her mom's hometown summer highs are 45 or so. It is tempting to get there as soon as possible. Yes, Joseph. I encourage as soon as possible. I also encourage the well-being of your fish being critically important. Have at least 300 tetras alone to ship. That's a good thing, Joseph. We know how 300 tetras can ship. So, Sharpies is asking Nisi, is that 24-hour darkness or daylight north, Nisi? Not that far north. I do have kin of kin that far north, though. Yeah, Alaska is one state that I've never been to. Um, I've been in Canada. I've been to the Arctic Circle in Canada, but I did it in the summertime, and it was mostly bugs then, biting delta wing flies and horse flies. Hey, Unfiltered Aquarius, welcome to the stream. You're getting in kind of on the tail end here. Um, we've been talking mostly about COPA, uh, Child Online Privacy Protection Act. Joseph says most of my fish will go on the plane with me. My eel will be checked baggage. Alaska is 1/5 the size of the 48 contiguous states. We used to have 4 time zones. Yes, Alaska is a big place. A great frontier. Yes, Max, they're talking about eels in baggage. Let me cover your little ears so you don't hear any of that. Yes. All right, guys, we're circling down the drain here. We got another 7 minutes left. If someone has a topic or a question that they'd like to broach. Nisi says Doug has surgery Wednesday, and we'll find out in the next 6 months if they got all the cancer. Yes, my prayers and well wishes are out for them. I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope. I think we should all, as human beings, try to lend our empathy. Yes, Dan Slee, still going, still here, not for long. Yeah, cancer is a scary, scary critter. I hope all gone is the outcome too. To anyone that's going through some serious metastasizing cancer or any of those kind of issues, I wish you the best outcomes. I pray for your best outcomes. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Don't we? Don't we, Max? We hope they get better. Nisi's talking about the other side effect of massive health issues, the bills. Yee. Ugh. The amount of percentage of income that are required to be spent on health care in the United States is just it's criminal. Nisi said they gave me the estimate and I about died on the spot. Yeah. Yeah, it's financial ability ending kind of bills that they give out now. We need someone to do the pet insurance on us so that we can survive the cost of our own medical care. All right, guys. Yeah, they're putting a monetary value on human health. Experience has shown us over and over and over again that pre-care is about 300 times less expensive, that catching something early makes it much easier to deal with. Even a serious critical illness is much easier to deal with if someone is getting regular checkups, if someone is getting competent, regular care, that it is so much cheaper to fix that problem early in the life cycle of that problem, and that if we wait until people show up, yeah, Nisi, I'm sorry that you guys are going through that. I'm sorry that you are facing the greed and the incompetence and the just human failing that is built into our supposed safety net. I'm really sorry that you guys are facing that. Hey, Aquaballs, welcome to the stream. Well, this live stream has ended up being almost zero fish content. I've tried to wind it back towards fish in any way that I can. Can I get my money back now then? No. Yeah. Basically, one illness can wipe out an entire life savings now. We had to go get insurance just in case the hospitals kick us out before we've had a chance to recover. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that hospitals' bottom line now is get them in here, get them treated, and get them out. Get them out as fast as we can. We don't want them to recuperate in here at all. They can go home and recuperate. And unfortunately, there are some illnesses where going home by yourself is not going to help you recuperate. And so there is insurance now that gives you a caregiver. Joseph needs to get bigger insulated shipping boxes. Well, you're not going to be able to take those shipping boxes in the on the plane with you. You're going to have to come up with some kind of suitcase. Jeremy Morrell, welcome to the stream. He's hoping that the stream just started. We are at 1 hour exactly, Jeremy. And it's time to leave you. I always want to sing Jack LaLanne's It's Time to Leave You. I invite any of you that are under the age of 50 to look up Jack LaLanne's exercise program, and the ending of the exercise program with Jack LaLanne singing It's Time to Leave You. Joseph says, I have brought insulated boxes of fish on board the plane before. It just counts as your carry-on. Yeah, okay. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope your fish keeping goes well. And if you're a content provider, I hope Copa leaves you alone. You guys have a good one. And for all of those in poor health, my prayers and best wishes to you so that you will be well soon and fully recovered.